I'm gonna totally have fun with you, because we do have to have a little bit of fun with this. Here is my instruction. There are, all of you have an offer on my listing. There's way too many of you. The one who shared the best scenario. It's what I call the group presentation. The instruction to all the agents who have a buyer interested for that property is, thanks for your offer. Yes, I submitted it to the seller. But the seller is asking that you all come to the office all at 2 o'clock. And we will all gather in the conference room, and each one of you will have an opportunity to present your client's offer in front of everybody else. All right, that's your instruction. First of all, is it legal? Sure, why not? Okay?
Should we bring lightsabers?
Can you bring lifesaving?
Do we have to actually fight the other agents?
No, there is no fighting going on. There is only talking that is going to happen, okay? All the talking will happen. Now, has anybody encountered a scenario like this? Since I've been doing this class, I have about half a dozen people who have done something similar. And the best story that somebody shared with me is still the first one that I received, so I keep repeating his story, okay, and sort of summarizing it. But there was about 12 of them. They all showed up on the time and day that they were required to show up. The seller and the listing agent, take a big conference room, sit everybody around the conference table. The seller and the listing agent are there, and then randomly everybody sits around the conference table. And the seller is the listing agent started at one end, and then they work their way around, and everybody in front of everybody else is saying, hey, here's my client's offer, this is what it is, those are the terms. Are you trying to make sure that you make your client's offer appealing to the seller? Yeah, you're gonna do everything you can to make your offer, your client's offer look attractive, interesting, on what terms you need to use for that matter, okay? Obviously, you will hear everything, as you go through. People have sort of an advantage because they've heard everybody else, right? But we continue, and then when everybody was done, the seller looks at everybody and he says, I think everybody got a fair chance to present their offer. Does anybody have anything else to say? And then he said, I went into my bag and I pulled my buyer's second offer. And I said, yeah, my buyer has another offer for you. And presented it and explained it and presented it. And everybody was like, whoa, this is not fair. And the seller said, yeah, it is. I gave all of you the same instructions. This is the only individual who decided to approach this way, but you all had the opportunity to do exactly the same thing because everybody got the same instruction. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it is fair. I realize that if I accept this offer, you are all able to submit another offer. You know what the terms of the offers are to beat. Okay, I understand attorney review. I can't stop you from presenting another offer, but I think I handle that in a pretty fair way, and I am committed to sticking with this offer, to going forward with this. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because every single multiple offer situation has its quirks, has its parameters. And no matter which side you're on, you need to analyze it. You need to look at it, and you need to say, okay, what I got? What is the best way to approach this? Now this agent, I talked to him afterwards, and I said, okay, how did you end up with a second offer in your bag? What was the deal here? And he said, well, I went back to my broker. And I said, I've never run into this. I have no idea what to do with this. Can you help me out here? The three of them sat, brainstormed, and the buyer said, okay, here is how we're gonna do this. This is my regular offer, and this is my highest and best offer. Here is my instruction. when you go around, you use my first offer. When you've heard everything, if my best offer is still in the running, you have my permission to pull it out. If the best offer is not in the running anymore, well, let it be, I lost. But they decided to sit down, think, this is unusual, different set of parameters, how are we going to approach this? What can we do to sort of answer this scenario? Could all the other 11 people do exactly the same thing?
Sure.
They all had the same ability, okay? And that's why I'm sharing that story, is that every time there's a multiple offer, did you think of everything you could have thought about to potentially help your client? That's the objective, okay? That's what you want to try to do. Did I really sort of think this through? Was there something else that we could have addressed? Is there something else that we missed or we can add into the conversation? So yes, Rob was done. Risk management. The biggest complaints are, my offer didn't get presented. I have no patience for this. Present it in person, get confirmation that the